Alright, so I get pretty bad pressure headaches now. Um, Part of it is probably from all the traveling and altitude change and humidity change that I go through all the time. Most of it's from stress, though, and the number one thing for relieving that stress is familiarity, friends, people in person, human interaction. And I mean human interaction beyond the grocery bagger at the checkout line kind of interaction. Most of you have people that you get to interact with on a personal level, and I don't. And I set out to prove that all the mean stuff that people were doing to me, that the police kept telling me was they couldn't do nothing about it, so on and so forth. Well, I set out to prove it's not alright for me to do those things. They'll do something about it if I do those things, and I was right. I set out to prove that the police were doing this to other people, and you know what? I accomplished that. This is hell. I mean, constantly moving around, trying to gather evidence, trying to find somebody to take a look at it, trying to find a place where I can actually sit down and function. And the things that I told you I had to worry about. There's videos on this YouTube that prove all those things right. When I said it's not something I can talk about in public, and then that one day that I talked about it in the Starbucks in public, it was the same day, same video. It was one video right after the other. And what happened? Well, the police showed up, just like I said they would. If I talk about anything even closely related to any of the things that happened, I mean, it scares people. Of course they're going to call the fucking cops. People are scared easily. Unfortunately, when they're scared of somebody who's not interested in hurting them, the cops still come and fuck with that person. I'm scared of people who are scared of me for a reason, because scared people do mean shit. The stuff that Alicia did, she did because she was scared. She was scared of having her drug habit exposed. Same thing with her sister. The reason their dad did what they did is because, well, he doesn't want anybody to believe or know that he stuck his dick in his own child. Losing my phone earlier, that was devastating. That woman, I tried to do her a kindness, and she stole from me. And I'm getting pretty used to that. Well, that's pretty much the majority of my life. When people know that it's just you, you're easy to victimize. You're the one they victimize. How many people do you know that are going to go start a fight with 5 people at once? Now, how many people do you know that'll go start a fight with someone who's smaller than them? Yeah, there's a lot more people who are going to start a fight with somebody who's smaller than them. That's who they can get away with taking it out on. I've seen so many people who got bitched by somebody who was a lot bigger than them. And then they take it out on their friends. Because they're pissed off and they can't take it out on the guy who's twice their size who will beat them piss fucking limber. But their friends will take it. I stopped taking it. Your shitty assumptions got a lot of people hurt. Your unwillingness to take a look. I heard so many people tell me, well, I believe you, Sean. I don't want you to believe me. I want you to look. Meanwhile, I mean, I need a safe environment. I've needed a safe environment for years. But ever since what happened to Natalie, I needed a steady roof over my head without constant screaming. The only actual place that was actually safe was Miss Peach's house. That was the only truly, actually safe place that I had. The only place that wasn't an abusive environment. I mean, when Dan Faber said in that last phone call between me and him that good luck finding a place where people don't scream. Well, that's the thing, is that Ms. Peaches, yeah, they raised their voice. Sure, there's disagreements. There's disagreements everywhere. It's the quantity of it. I mean, the sheer quantity of bullshit and drama out of Shannon Alvarado. She meant well, but she couldn't stay sober enough to follow through. As Sally Treons, I mean, she's interested in the same horror movies and killing type of stuff that Shannon Alvarado's into. And there it was a lot of adults screaming at kids. And everything in the house that goes wrong is the kids' fault. Well, it wasn't the kids' fault. It was the adults' fault. Those kids are suffering from fucking overload from being screamed at, the massive quantity of screaming. The constantness of it. At Shannon Alvarado's, it wasn't constant screaming. It was just, well, at night, it was pretty well constant drama. Constant need for attention. So she liked both positive and negative attention. So depending on the night, the attention that she got, she dictated. If she started an argument with Rick, then she got to have one of those nights. And I'm not taking Rick's side just because he's the dude. Rick is an asshole. He really is. He's taught to be aggressive. That's what military training does. But just because you're a dickhead doesn't mean that you're right or wrong. I know a lot of people who are jerks who are right a lot more than I want to admit. But I do admit it. Because it's right to do so. I'm fixing to have a really bad few days here. Having lost my phone and all the evidence in it. It's my third phone that I've lost. I need that goddamn thing. We got all this Antifa stuff going on. We got a bunch of fascist crap going on. We got a bunch of Nazi bullshit coming out of our own government. And my life sucks. I can't see my loved ones. What I need in order to heal up. Since I left Virginia, all I've needed is a safe place with a good friend. At Miss Peach's house, I can handle everyone there. It's the fact that I couldn't stay there. She doesn't own the property. She rents it like most people. Shannon Alvarado's, I'd never met Shannon. I didn't know what kind of a person she was. I was pretty sure she was on one substance or another because of the whole repeat library thing. Holy fuck. Like, I'd tell her something, and I'd have to tell her 30 times in one conversation. She'd get it stuck in her head, and what she has in her head is more important than anything else that anybody else is saying. And as a result, she's not actually hearing what it is that I'm saying. She's mulling through her head what it is she wants to say, and she's trying to hold on to that nugget in her head. And because she's trying to hold on to that so that she can say it, she's not hearing what it is that I'm trying to explain to her. She'll catch a word or two, and that'll jump her off on another tangent. Shannon Alvarado is not a bad person. My dad's a bad person. My stepmom's not. My mom's a bad person. My stepdad's not. It's too bad Diane didn't marry Scott. Scott would definitely be better off if he wasn't with my mother. My dad's a selfish son of a bitch, though. Bible says to respect your parents. Well, they gotta be parents first. I was raised in the system because both of my parents decided that drugging was more important than parenting. So they opted out of parenting. That wasn't my choice. That wasn't Eric's choice. That wasn't Tara's choice. That wasn't Michael's choice. Me and Eric spent the most time in the system, and I spent almost double the time in the system that Rabbit did, or Eric. Being cut off from my loved ones, unless I can come up with the money for coffee tomorrow, which I think I have enough change, I won't be able to communicate with anyone. I'll be completely cut off from all of my loved ones. And I don't do well under that scenario. That's why locking me up is a bad idea. I spoke out about the police and their tactics for far too long, but you know what? It goes to show I know what the fuck I'm talking about. All of the people that this happened to before it happened to me, that I spoke out about, that shows that this is their MO. All of the people they have done this to since, that have been on the news, show that it's their MO. This is what they do. The Boulder Police Department is especially heinous. So's Arapahoe. So's Jefferson County. I was in 5 of the 8 most corrupt police department jurisdictions in Colorado. Maybe that's somebody shooting themselves in the head. Maybe it's a firework, I don't know. What I do know is that I've been trying to make a police report for 2.5 years. And I have a lot of reports that I need to make. I need to be allowed the time to do it and the access to the evidence to show it. Instead, all of my funds, which come from others, get spent on traveling from place to place to place, hoping that somebody is gonna fucking keep their word. Hoping that one of these places, it's not like Shannon Alvarado's. And Shannon Alvarado was good to me. The problem is that it was a highly stressful environment. It shut me down, just like my dad's. Trying to get him to listen. Please, Dad, stow your fucking opinions and find out what happened before you try fucking throwing that shit at me. Instead of asking questions that are all over the place, why don't you find out in what order it happened in? He's like, well, you threatened her family, didn't you? I'm like, dude, I threatened